All right, hello, Sooner Nation. It is a special NCAA tournament edition of Sooner Cast. I was hoping OU would be in it. It felt like for a long time that, crazy enough, we were going to be in this thing when I had written this team off. Do you remember us doing that pod when we were talking about them saying, well, they win 6 out of 7 here. You know, they played themselves in the bubble. We're like, have you watched this team play? But I felt like, to me, they were one of the 68 teams that deserved a spot. I'm an OU fan. Obviously, that's my thought. But you can't lose 9 games in a row in conference and expect to. You've basically got to get a lot of help. And I think when Dayton won, it kind of sent it backwards a little bit. But I don't know, Steve. I'll let you start out. I told Steve before this, I'm kind of excited because I think we have a little bit of different views on the Moser situation.
I think most people would tell you that our next holiday is St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday. But to me, it's Selection Sunday, so it's Groundhog Day. And once again, the Sooners, and I'm meaning Groundhog Day is in the Bill Murray the old Bill Murray movie, because once again, here we are, we're the first team out. And you can talk about, and this is what most people will, and it's fine because the graphic conveniently came out that we had the second lowest cost roster in the SEC and, that sort of thing. But I would like for anyone to look me in the eye and tell me the reason that we lost 15 games, all of them, is simply because our roster wasn't good enough. I just don't think that's the case. I think we lost 15 games because we oftentimes, how many years in a row we talked about losing the rebound margin? How many years in a row have we talked about turnovers? How many years in a row have we talked about the fact we really don't run anything on offense? And the one time we did make an NCAA tournament, it took an NBA lottery pick. This year, we had a 6th-year senior who got hot, and that helped us win a lot of the games that we did. We got, the return of Muhammad Wagi, who we hadn't really seen. He comes back playing again. I was excited watching these tournament games. I was. But at the same time, for me to tell you I'm excited that Porter Moser's going to be back next year, I'm just not. And this isn't me coming on here. I'm just a guy, okay? I'm just a guy who has an opinion, and I don't want to wish anyone to lose their job. I don't think Porter's a bad guy. That's not what I want to come across here. But what I'm saying is I just don't understand the narrative that it's going to be better next year because nothing in my eyes have seen that it's going to be.
We talked a little bit before we got on. I feel like Denny kind of threw Josie under the bus a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Hit him with all 4 wheels.
Yeah. I honestly think bringing Moser back is more of this is for our future hire. Yeah, if that makes any sense. Like, he's saying, I'm not blaming the coaching. I'm blaming what resources we've had. And we're going to pour money into this program. And if he don't win then we'll let him go. Well, we've seen this. Now, the only thing one thing I will say is you don't lose 9 games in a row and play like that team did if that team doesn't respect you as a coach. So,
no.
And those players, and I got to give a little credit to Moser because it had been easy to cash in. And it had been easy for those guys to be like, well, he's gone. He doesn't care. But none of them gave up. And I think that's really the thing that's glaring to me. And when they said he was coming back, I'm like, I don't have a problem with it because has he figured out how to coach in this league? That's the only thing that runs through my mind. Has he? Probably not. But I watched how that team played. The rebounding, the effort. Did you watch, against A&M? Remember how many times have we complained about the 50-50 balls? Like, we don't ever get 50-50 balls. It's always like these teams want it more. Against A&M, A&M's probably complaining that we got every 50-50 ball. We killed them on the boards, which is never mentioned in the Moser era. Like, we always get killed on offensive boards. It was like one shot and out. And I think earlier in the year I said, yeah, it looks really good when you hit every shot. Well, it did look really good because we were hitting a bunch of threes, but also, too, there was a little bit of movement. And they were getting those good shots. They were getting those rebounds, which is what killed this team, I think, in that 9-game losing streak. It's just the second chance points. It's like you cannot keep giving good teams second chances. And it felt like, I mean, at the end, again, the Arkansas game in the tournament, it was like, sorry, my dogs just heard Lindsay come home. But
A-cuff. Yeah. That's why we got beat.
Yeah.
A-cuff.
The second half, you could see like the legs are starting to get tired. They're all starting, you can tell it's their, third game in 3 nights. So, but I don't know. I felt like this is the one team I'd have liked to see get in the tournament. Last year when they made the tournament, it was like, great, they made the tournament. They're going to get beat in the first round anyways. Don't matter. Yeah.
Here's the question, Jeremy. You talk about liking to see this team. And same. I enjoyed this SEC tournament run. I totally did. I enjoyed the win down at Texas. But here's the deal. We're going to have a completely different team again next year. And you can talk about that being NIL, but Porter Moser was losing people before NIL was legal.
Yeah.
And so, we've got a chance people to be back. If Darian Reed is back, if Xavier Brown is back, I'll be a little more optimistic. I don't think either one of them will be. Because that's not what happens under Porter Moser. We're going to have a whole new roster again. And then, we're going to have our peaks and our valleys. And we'll be sitting here in March of 2027, probably talking about, are we on the line? Are we off the line? I mean, this is a guy who, in his 5 years at Oklahoma, here's his conference records: 7-11, 5-13, 8-10, 6-12, 7-11. I mean, that's a 364 winning percentage in conference.
Yeah.
Over 5 years. And, okay, let's play devil's advocate. And let's say it's because we don't have the players. We don't have the depth. Whatever else you're going to get. Because, when you're talking about resources, I mean, I don't really know what resources we're lacking other than players. Maybe that means going out and hiring better assistants. But when Porter first came, we were told how awesome those assistants were, and we couldn't keep any of them. Now, maybe I'm making the argument for somebody in that. Maybe the argument is Porter does know who good assistants are, but we just can't keep them. And because we were not paying them enough. I don't know. We've tried to, allegedly we're getting a new arena. But I think it all comes back to its players and Porter's talent evaluation and his consistency of play. I mean, if you watch us, Jeremy, and you're making a choice, I think most of the choices are about money. I think the second choices are about relationships. When you do see an empty Lloyd Noble Center and you're looking at trying to choose, where to go, you're not going to choose this place. And you can say, well, that's on us as the fans. But Jeremy has talked about this a lot. We like winners. We like people who go get things done. And I mean, I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for like this. We are not some poor little pitiful little engine that could. Yeah, maybe we need to spend some more money on our roster and that sort of thing. But this is not some poverty program. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't feel great because Stephen F. Austin made the tournament, okay, or whoever. This is Oklahoma.
Yeah. I guess my deal was I thought we were spending more money than we did. And when you look at the breakdown of rosters, we're next to last at $6.5 million, I think it was. And I think that's got to be a lot to do with it. I mean, you have to, in this day and age, I think Cap said it on Twitter, he goes, I guess look at it. He goes, if you want to look at roster, let's just say that we gave Brent Venables next to last how much money we spent on his roster. How much would he compete in the SEC? I understand that. But also,
But it would be different, Jeremy, if Brent Venables had a lot of close losses
Yeah.
that were game management losses. That's not about that. Okay. There are non-negotiables that just happen with this team that I just don't think it matters. Now, maybe we're going to get awesome enough players. And I do think Porter's a good motivator. I do. And I am all for stability. I am all for giving people chances, but I'm just not optimistic. I'm just not.
Here's another thing. Do you think they brought Moser back? Because I think it's really important to bring back some of these guys that were there.
Yeah,
like,
we'll see.
Get some stability, and maybe the conversation's been had with some of these players is we're not coming back to OU unless Porter Moser's here.
But by my account, the only player who retweeted or liked the Thamel tweet that went out was Nigel Pack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you don't know what happens behind closed doors. I guess my only thing is the proof is in the pudding. And like I said, 9-game losing streak, team that probably should have given up, because when you go into an arena and you can honestly feel that a fan base has given up on a team, you can feel it in an arena. I mean, I've been in arenas where you can just feel that teams are like everybody's giving up on them. And you listen to our pod, like we were like, are we even watching this game? I mean, are they going to lose? You texted me, hey, do you think we'll win tonight? No. Why not? Porter Moser is still the coach. And I think that's what's so crazy is I just watched that team play this last stretch, and I thought, I've seen a team get better as the season goes on. It sucks because one of those 9-game losing streak, just one game, and we're probably in the tournament. Missouri game, they don't make 2 crazy shots. We're in the tournament. I mean, it's simple as that. We go to A&M, we blow that game. It's like there's so many, and it's like the second half of the conference season, we finally finished or figured out how to win. Like we didn't know how to win games. We didn't know how to close out games. And we finally figured it out. And it's like, we're right on this run. We get beat by Arkansas, and that's it. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. Am I probably going to get my heart broken? Yes, I probably am. And I've told myself this whole season, I am not going to get blinded by a run or something like that. But this team just felt different to me. It's just everything they did. I think
it's still the same team, Jeremy. I mean, does a tournament team lose games to Arizona State? Does a tournament team lose by 20 plus to, we lost by 16 to Arizona State. We lost by 20. Well, we lost by 19 to Mississippi State. We lost by 9 to South Carolina. I mean, those are bad losses. And I mean, and that was kind of something we were touted as, well, we don't have any quad 3 or quad 4 losses. But I mean, 19 and 15, it's just not going to get it done. And it is the totality. And, you would like to think, it's kind of like best versus most deserving. And I was listening to the tournament chair guy talk about, and I guess it was down to us and SMU were the last 2 teams. SMU got in, we didn't. I look like Miami, Ohio, but anyway, the guy who, I guess he's the Sun Belt commissioner, was talking about it. And he talked about the fact that, when I guess they had lost 5 of 6 or 5 of 7 or something like that, SMU, but they talked about they were doing it without their second or third best player, and he was going to be back. I mean, that's really kind of crappy because if we really, I guarantee you, if you put a line in Vegas right now between us and SMU on a neutral floor, we're probably favored in that. But that's not what it is. The NCAA tournament is unfortunately more about most deserving than it is best. And, that's what all those losses stacked together would be. And once again, I think if you would go zoom the pod back to after we won that Bedlam game, I kind of thought those were 2 NCAA tournament teams. And, we might be a team that might be able to win a first-round game. And instead, we're a team that's going to get a chance to host an NIT game. And OSU's a team that's probably done for the year. So
do you think we'll accept the NIT?
I don't. We didn't. The last time we were in this position, when we were the first team out, we didn't. Moser's first year, we did take the NIT. And I think it's a dollars and cents thing. I don't think I think the fear would be especially with the women hosting an NCAA tournament games, that it's going to cost some money to do that. We don't want to put an empty gym on TV when you're trying to go out and get people out of the portal. So that's just where I'm at. Now, to me, if I was Roger Denny, I would accept it, and I would slash prices on that sucker, and I would try to get it, as full as it could be, because make it almost like that Arkansas game that we let people in for free, because whoever we're playing in NIT is probably not going to travel like Arkansas. So I think we can fill that up with Sooner fans. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the questions on Twitter before we got on. Everybody's like, "Do you think we'll accept it?" And my thing was, yeah, if we do, I'd be real interested to see what the gym look like, because I think that is something that they would do. Flash prices filled up, because everybody seems it's kind of 50-50. Everybody's up.
That's what I was going to say. What do you think, Jeremy? I mean, like, I understand your perspective. I don't necessarily agree with it. That's where I think you understand mine. You don't necessarily agree with it. But at the same time, I would say there's probably more people. Matter of fact, put this in the comments as you go through this. We want to know from you. Just say stay or go. What do you wish would happen with Porter Moser? Because here's the deal, guys. There's still a chance he leaves. Okay. Roger Denny said he's going to be back next year. We didn't sign him to a contract extension. Okay. So this is the guy who's going to be coaching as a lame duck next year. If there's a job in the Midwest that's open, don't be shocked if Porter goes goes after it. But yeah, put that in the comments down there for us. Let us know what you guys think.
One thing going to your side is I look at Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah. I mean, look at the teams who are in Oklahoma City. You got an A&M team who just hired a new coach who, now we beat them last time. If we win 2 out of 3 against A&M instead of 1 out of 3, we're probably in the tournament. And, I think buckyball is kind of dumb in some ways. I hate the way that, to me, how they play defense is kind of illogical against really good teams, but they've got a lot more full arena than we do. It's an exciting brand of basketball, and, they're in the tournament and we're not. They're in Oklahoma City. Kelvin's in Oklahoma City. There's people there that have a lot of Oklahoma ties, but Oklahoma's not one of them.
Well, and I pulled Kelvin Sampson. I think the guy is top 3 best basketball coaches right now in college basketball. It's just like, and you listen to the guy talking, why players want to go play for him. This goes against everything my brother believes in. He hates Kelvin Sampson to this day because he left and went to Indiana. And so, if I talk good about him, Brad's always like, "We hate him, Jeremy." I'm like, how long ago was it he left? So I'm like, well, the guy, you can hate him all you want. The guy knows how to coach basketball. So I will be pulling for Kelvin in Oklahoma City. I'm hoping that he makes a run. But that said, it's just when you watch coaches like that, the great ones, you don't see excuses. I saw Moser is not wrong here. I saw him talking about foresight. He said, when Dayton was out, we struggled because of the minutes that our point guards had to run. And he goes, if you take Dayton out of it, he goes, you can see when we have a full strength Dayton foresight, what's funny is Dayton don't fill up stat sheet. All he's doing is just giving these other guards a little bit of a blow. But those are little things that help you make runs. And
here's a question for you, Jeremy. Truly. And this to me is one of the most damning things for Porter Moser. Why do our players when they go somewhere else are just a whole lot better?
No, I can't explain. I cannot. And it is, watch Oweh, and Oweh just all he does is kill OU. It's almost like he's
in, for Houston or Duke Miles or lots of there's just lots and lots of people who seem to play better when they're not
also
here.
Too, it's not like those guys were bad players at OU. It's just and I think a lot of it's too, and this is probably sound like I'm making excuses, and I probably might be, but it's just like I think that's one thing about it when you're building this roster. It's like Kentucky's. They built a $22 million roster, and the fan base is pissed off because we should be better if we got $22 million.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you got a bunch of players that don't mesh, it really doesn't matter how much you can spend $50 million on them. If they don't work and play together, it don't really matter. I mean, I've been on teams that we probably had more talent than any team I ever played for, and we won less games. So
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. I mean, you've got to, and I think to me, and this might be why they played better in the second half of the season, these guys finally figured out how to play with each other.
Yep.
And you get a little bit of that. And when you're building a roster, you got to work, and just kind of like how Brent Venables has done and Nagy, they've tried to look at pieces that fit what they're trying to do. Don't just say, this guy's a really good linebacker, let's go pick him. This guy can shoot.
Okay. And like, I know this is a bad example, but I literally had this conversation today, so I'll say it. I was watching the Thunder game, and Jared McCain plays really well today. We get home from church, we're watching the Thunder game, and just talking what a steal it was for the Thunder to get him. But it was a no-brainer because shooting translates. He's goofy. This team is goofy. Okay, he's a good culture fit. With all those things, and like what you just said with BV. There's a culture, there's an identity, there's a plan to it. Now, Porter gives a crap. He does, okay? But beyond that, what is the culture of a Porter Moser team? Because this year's team was a lot better on offense than they were on defense. I mean, our offensive efficiency was borderline top 30, 25, 30, somewhere around there. Defense efficiency was terrible. And Porter's not going to change. I mean, Porter's been a head coach for 20-something years. But there needs to be some identity, and maybe with more money, maybe we can go do that. Maybe we don't have to. Maybe the best we can say is, if you're going to have to go get dressed for a big job interview and you've got only place you get a shop is from the clearance rack, you might not put together the best suits. Okay. You might not put together the best outfits. So hopefully we're letting him, go be in a place to get better ingredients to make a better dinner.
But that goes back to retaining a lot of these guys. Like, if you can bring back a bunch of guys that played a full year together, is a big plus. And then you just put pieces that build around what you already have. And I think that, to me, is always going to be an issue in college basketball. What you can retain is more important than what you can go out and get, because build around pieces that you already got. Shire is a hell of a basketball coach, and everybody's praising his name, but he coaches at Duke. I'm like, yeah. I'm not. It's just like going to. I'll use this because our friend April is there. Like going to the Dell Pirates, and man, we would succeed there. Well, yeah, they've won 4 straight state championships because, I mean.
Yeah, 5. This was a different coach this year,
Yeah.
But Fletcher Reed is a good basketball coach.
Good players will always make you look like a better coach.
Mm-hmm.
Was Moser coaching any different the last part of the year than he was the first part of the year? Probably not. But you know what? They win games. Winning cures everything. Mm-hmm. And so when you're winning, everything looks a little bit better. And am I blinded by that? I might be. And I think just like me and Steve have never said on here that Moser is not a good basketball coach. The guy that, to me, it doesn't really matter who you got. If you make it to a Final Four, you're a decent basketball coach. And he made it with Loyola. I don't care who he played, how he got there, what happened in the tournament. If you make the Final Four, you're a good basketball coach. It's just, I feel like he's never figured out the SEC or big-time college basketball. It just has always felt like that. This is the only year where it's like, and like I said, I might just be eating crow at the end of next year, but I just feel like
and here's the deal, guys. I've vented about this here. I'm frustrated, but I'm going to root for the Sooners. Just like I talked about all through the time. I could have been the guy who, and I was wrong. I admit it. I thought Porter would be gone. I did. I never really thought we were going to make the tournament. We didn't. And I thought he would be gone. I thought at Oklahoma, 4 out of 5 years of not making NCAA tournament would get you fired. Because I think before Porter Moser, that always did. Maybe it was a perfect storm of dwindling support from administration and from boosters, led to some apathy, led to different things. Maybe with an infusion of interest, this thing turns itself around. But I hope, whether it's Porter Moser or whoever the next coach is after Porter Moser, Oklahoma never goes 4 out of 5 years without making the NCAA tournament. It really stinks to watch this election, Joe, and not see your name come up there. It really stinks to not be able to do all the things on Thursdays and Fridays and those great days of the tournament without your team in there. I am sorry to this generation of young Sooner fans who don't get to experience that, because Jeremy and I did.
Yeah. I remember in the 90s when Kelvin would always make the tournament but lose in the first round.
Well, remember how many years we lost in the second round? You know, we couldn't get to the Sweet 16, and, you know, all the frustrations that went with that, you know,
the one time that we made the Sweet 16, or the first time we made the Sweet 16, we were a 12 seed. And we beat the Jason Terry-led Arizona team, which with Eduardo Nahara, which was but you remember that. Like, me and Steve have always said, we're huge basketball fans. We're huge college basketball fans. And I remember Ryan Miner. I remember Ryan Miner hitting the big three, then Ernie Abercrombie hitting a three in the corner against Kansas. And my brother's there in 92. He used to always say, he used to give me crap because when me and Steve went to OU, we were good in football and we were good at basketball. And he goes, I bet you never got to storm the courts, have you? And I go, I haven't, because we're too damn good. If we just stormed the court back then, they would have probably taken us all to jail. So, but it is frustrating when you have to watch an NCAA tournament and your team's not in it. You make that bracket, you make your brackets out, and you make that one bracket where you have OU winning it all, just in case that happens. You don't have that. You know, there ain't no NIT bracketology.
So, if you'd like to join Jeremy and I's NIT Pick'em, please join. The group name will be Losers in the comment section.
Hey, you know what, too? If they do accept the NIT bid, I'm very curious how this, like, I don't know, just if that team comes out there and plays like they have been, it's like, that's pretty telling, too.
Yeah.
That said, when you're not in the tournament, I don't blame players being like, oh, what are we going to hang up an NIT banner? You know, I mean, that's just, it's always been such a waste for big time teams, especially teams that are first teams out. If they would expand the tournament to 70 teams, Porter Moser would have made 4 out of the 5 years. If you want to know how close it is. So it sucks. I'm still going to watch the tournament. I haven't even looked at the brackets to see who I would have. I thought St. John's being a 5 seed was very
I kind of thought that bracket seemed a little overloaded. You got St. John's a 5. Kansas, does have a high ceiling with Peterson at the 4. Yeah. Duke's the 1 in that one, and so
how pissed off do you think Duke is? Duke's like, you're gonna put St. John's as a 5 who just won the
yeah, I don't know. It's a little odd, but
when I saw that, I was like, they won their tournament and they gave them a 5.
Miami, Ohio's in the tournament, and they didn't beat anybody with a net rating under 100 all year long. So
hey, I can guarantee you, Miami, Ohio's excited that SMU's in there and not us.
Yes, exactly.
Because that is
speaking of exciting, the women's bracket is being revealed right now, and the best news is we are not in UConn's bracket. So there we go. So don't know if we're going to be a 4 or a 3 or whatever we are. We are a host team. Those 16 came
we're
out,
a host, though, right?
We are not in UConn's bracket because UConn's bracket is out. So there you go.
Sweet.
Quick stickball update. Jeremy, I think any OU pod who wouldn't mention the Friday night A&M baseball game, I'll just kind of clear the runway for you a little bit there of why we love Skip and why we love this baseball team.
If you watched a Tennessee player who literally did more in his celebration that got the home run robbed by Georgia to win the game today, I don't know if anybody's seen that. The Tennessee player hits a bomb, pimps it, and spikes his bat down in front of the Georgia dugout, only for Georgia's left fielder to rob the home run for them to win. That guy is going to play their next game.
Yeah.
Jackson Willis. I mean, to me, you're taking the game away from the kids. I'm so sick of the they not only did he tie the game, they hit back-to-back homers to tie the game. So for them to kick him out of the game, and not to mention A&M's coach, I mean, it wasn't a bad bat flip, but he threw the bat over.
He did throw it.
He did throw it.
Yeah.
And he got to coach the next game. Skip this point. I think they just said, you know what, just let him serve his 1-game suspension. It's we won the first game. It's
And hey, we did win the series today, 12-11. So
we're gonna learn a lot about OU baseball in the next 2 series. They play LSU and Texas. So we're gonna figure out a lot about them. So
but hey, I did think it was important to go ahead and win that A&M series because I mean that's a team I think we're probably pretty much on a level with. You have them at home. 1, 2 out of 3. The poor pitiful softball team won again, swept. Sorry, Jarrett, but swept the Auburn Tigers, Tigerettes, whatever you want to refer to them as. But we're rocking along, and I did watch just a little bit of that softball game today. It was on the SEC network, and the wind was absolutely just insane. It actually took the broadcast off a couple of different times from the wind. It just blew the camera to black. So be safe out there, because here's what's funny. Tonight it's going to be 25. I saw the forecast high in Norman next Sunday is 101. So, welcome to Oklahoma, where your team doesn't make the NCAA tournament. It's really windy, and God knows what's happening with the weather.
Yeah, and Brya is in Austin, Texas right now with a friend for spring break, and she called me a while ago.
Is she okay?
Yeah. I was like, don't you fall in love with that town. That's all I can tell you. I said, she goes, is it cold there, Dad? And I said, yeah, it's pretty cold and it's windy. And I said, it's going to be even colder tomorrow. And she goes, you see what the temperatures are next weekend? Because we start our season next weekend. I said, yeah. And she goes, suckers, all these teams trying to start their season early.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So we picked a good time to start playing next weekend. So it's actually softball weather and not 100-mile-per-hour winds. So
yeah, exactly.
I can promise you, I drove by a golf course today in Owasso, and there was guys playing golf. I said, you couldn't pay me enough money to play golf. I love playing golf. I would never play golf in this wind because there's nothing to stop.
We did go play yesterday. Allie and I had a little Allie's playing golf this spring, and a couple of top 10 finishes for Al. So shout out for Allie. She's medaled at both her golf tournaments, but probably, her and I played against Reed's in for spring break, played against Reed and Mike yesterday. So we had a good time, but we did make the comment today, thank God we're not playing golf today, because there would definitely be some negative tee shots going on.
Billy and Millhouse, the time we played with them. I mean,
yes, exactly.
The long ball's hitting my leg, I can promise you.
Yes, exactly.
Hey guys, we got to 200 on subscribers. Let's keep the train moving. Like, we're upset about OU basketball, so the only thing to make us feel better is new subscribers. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple and Spotify, Gosworking, and find us on email. Yeah,
Soonercast@gmail.com. Don't forget to give us a comment out there today too, of just whether you think, give us the old, Roman thumbs up, thumbs down on whether you think it was a good idea that Porter was kept, or if it was a bad idea that Porter was kept. And don't be that guy who unsubscribes and knocks us down to 199. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Boomer.
Boomer Center.